Bruce Lee kept a full-length mirror in his bedroom that nobody was allowed to touch, not to clean, not to move, not even to look at directly when he wasn't using it. Linda thought it was superstition until the night before he died, when she saw what he did with it and understood it was something else entirely. Hong Kong, Bruce Lee and Linda move into their home in Kowloon Tong. The house is being furnished, decorated, made into a space where a family can live, where children can grow, where Bruce can rest between the work that never seems to stop. Bruce has specific requirements. The study needs to be quiet, away from street noise. The children's rooms need good light, natural light, the kind that doesn't require electricity during the day. Linda's preferences matter. Bruce defers to her on most decisions: paint colors, furniture, kitchen layout. These things he trusts her to decide. But the bedroom, the master bedroom. Bruce has one non-negotiable requirement: a full-length mirror. Exactly here, against this specific wall, positioned at this exact angle. Not approximate, exact. He measures it himself, uses a level, adjusts it 3 times until the angle is precisely what he wants. Linda asks why it matters so much. Bruce says, "I need to see myself completely, not just face, not just upper body, everything, from every angle. This position lets me see what I need to see." What do you need to see? The truth. The mirror arrives, 7 feet tall, 3 feet wide, heavy, professional quality, the kind dancers use, the kind that doesn't distort, that shows you exactly what you are without flattery or mercy. Bruce positions it himself, won't let the movers touch it, adjusts it, checks the angle, steps back, looks, adjusts again. This process takes 40 minutes. Linda watches, doesn't understand why this matters so much, but understands it matters. Finally, Bruce is satisfied. The mirror is positioned. He stands in front of it, looks at himself. Not vanity, not admiration, assessment, like a mechanic looking at an engine, like a doctor looking at an X-ray, looking for problems, for weaknesses, for truth. Perfect, he says. From that day forward, Bruce has a rule about the mirror. Nobody touches it. Nobody cleans it. Nobody moves it, even slightly. If dust accumulates, Bruce cleans it himself. If the angle shifts, Bruce adjusts it back. This is his mirror, his tool, his truth device. Linda finds it strange but accepts it. Everyone has their things, their rituals, their objects that matter in ways that don't make sense to other people. This is Bruce's thing. What Linda doesn't know is what Bruce does with the mirror every night, after she's asleep, after the children are asleep, after the house is quiet and dark and belongs only to Bruce and his thoughts. Every night for 2 years, the same ritual. Bruce gets out of bed, careful not to wake Linda, goes to the mirror, turns on a small lamp, just enough light, not bright, just enough to see, and stands in front of the mirror, naked, completely naked, no performance, no armor, just body, just flesh, just the machine he lives in and depends on and pushes to limits that most people never approach. He looks at himself, not quickly, not casually, carefully, systematically, starting at his feet, moving up, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, checking for asymmetry, for swelling, for signs of wear, for the small changes that indicate problems before they become big problems, up to the hips, the core, the abdomen, the muscles he's built over years of training, looking not for aesthetics, for function. Are they balanced? Is one side compensating for the other? Is there tension where there shouldn't be tension? Relaxation where there should be engagement? The chest, the shoulders, the arms, turning, looking from different angles, checking the back as much as the front, because the back tells you things the front hides. Compensation patterns, imbalances, the body lying to itself about how it's actually working. The neck, the face, the eyes, looking into his own eyes. This is the hardest part, not the body, the eyes, looking into his own eyes and seeing what's there. Fatigue, fear, doubt, the things he doesn't show anyone else, the things that exist only in the 3 a.m. mirror sessions when nobody is watching. This ritual takes 15 minutes. Every night, for 2 years, Bruce standing in front of the mirror, checking, assessing, looking for truth that only appears when you're alone and naked and willing to see what's actually there instead of what you want to be there. Linda knows he gets up sometimes, assumes he's going to the bathroom, or getting water, or unable to sleep and walking around. She doesn't know about the mirror, about the nightly assessment, about the 15 minutes of brutal honesty that Bruce needs before he can sleep. Until one night, July 19th, 1973, one day before Bruce dies. Linda wakes up. 2 a.m. Bruce is not in bed. She gets up, quietly, thinking maybe he's in the bathroom. Maybe the study. Maybe having one of the sleepless nights that come more frequently now. The nights when the body won't settle, when the mind won't stop. She sees light from the bedroom. Dim light. The small lamp by the mirror. She stops in the doorway, doesn't enter, doesn't make her presence known, just watches. Bruce is standing in front of the mirror, naked. But tonight is different. He's not doing the usual assessment, the systematic check. Tonight he's just standing, looking. His expression is something Linda has never seen before. Not quite sad, not quite afraid. Something else, something that doesn't have a name. He's touching his abdomen, gently, where the organs are, where the pain has been coming from lately. The pain he doesn't talk about. The pain he dismisses as stress or bad food or nothing important. His hand resting there, not pressing, just resting, like he's listening, like the body is trying to tell him something and he's finally quiet enough to hear it. Linda watches for several minutes. Bruce doesn't move, just stands there, hand on his abdomen, looking at himself in the mirror. The expression on his face, something between knowing and not wanting to know. Finally, Linda speaks, softly. Bruce. He doesn't startle, doesn't jump, just turns his head slightly, acknowledges her presence without surprise, like he knew she was there, or like it doesn't matter anymore who sees. I couldn't sleep, he says. What are you doing? Bruce looks back at the mirror. Looking. For what? The truth. What truth? Bruce is quiet for a long time. Then the body doesn't lie, not to itself. It tells you things. If you're willing to listen, if you're willing to see what's actually there instead of what you want to be there. What are you seeing? I'm seeing someone who pushed too hard, who ignored the signals, who thought willpower could override biology. I'm seeing the bill coming due. Linda comes into the room, stands beside him, looks at the mirror, at both of them reflected. Bruce naked, Linda in her nightgown. Two people in their 30s looking at themselves in a mirror at 2 a.m. the night before one of them dies. What does the bill say? Linda asks. It says time's up. It says you had a body that could do extraordinary things and you used it until you used it up. It says the machine is failing and all the willpower in the world won't fix it now. You're scaring me. Bruce looks at her. Really looks. I'm scaring myself. They stand together. Looking at the mirror, Bruce touches his abdomen again. It hurts. It's been hurting for weeks, maybe months. I told myself it was nothing. Stress, diet, overtraining. But it's not nothing. I can feel it. Something's wrong. Something fundamental. Then see a doctor. Tomorrow, first thing. I saw doctors. They say I'm fine. Tests are fine. Nothing wrong. But they're wrong. The body knows what tests can't measure yet. The body is telling me something's breaking. I can feel it breaking. Linda doesn't know what to say. Wants to dismiss it as paranoia, as exhaustion, as the stress of too much work and too little rest. But she sees his face in the mirror, sees the truth he's seeing, and can't dismiss it. Come to bed, she says. In a minute. I just need to look a little longer. Why? Because this is the last time I'll see myself like this. When you know something's ending, you want to see it clearly. You want to remember it, not the performance version, the real version. This is the real version, this body, this moment, this truth. Linda doesn't understand. Not fully, but she doesn't argue. She goes back to bed, leaves Bruce with his mirror, with his truth, with whatever he needs to say goodbye to. Bruce stands there for another 10 minutes, looking, not doing the systematic check, just looking at the whole thing, at 32 years in a body that could do things other bodies couldn't do, at the cost of those things, at the wear, at the damage, at the machine that's failing. Then he does something he's never done before. He places both hands flat against the mirror, like touching his own reflection, like saying goodbye to someone, like acknowledging that the person in the mirror and the person looking at the mirror are about to separate. Thank you. he says quietly. To the body, to the reflection, to whatever allowed him to be Bruce Lee for 32 years. Then he turns off the lamp, goes back to bed, lies down beside Linda, falls asleep. The next day, July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee dies. Linda remembers that night, the mirror, the way Bruce stood there, the things he said. The body doesn't lie. The bill is coming due. This is the last time I'll see myself like this. He knew. Not consciously, maybe, but somewhere deeper, the body knew and told him, and he listened. Finally, too late to change anything, but in time to say goodbye. The mirror stays in the bedroom for years after Bruce dies. Linda can't bring herself to move it, can't bring herself to use it, can't look at it without seeing Bruce standing there at 2 a.m., hands on his abdomen, saying goodbye to his body. Finally, in 1976, 3 years after Bruce's death, Linda moves. New house, fresh start. The mirror doesn't come. She leaves it, gives it to the new owners, doesn't explain why, just says it came with the house and can stay with the house. Shannon asks about it years later. There was a big mirror in your old bedroom. What happened to it? Linda tells her the story. The nightly ritual. The July 19 conversation. The last time Bruce looked at himself and knew it was the last time. Shannon is quiet for a long time. Then he was saying goodbye to everything, the practice, the route, his body. He spent his last days completing things. Yes. Did he know he was going to die? I don't think he knew consciously, but I think his body knew. And I think that night, standing in front of that mirror, he finally listened to what his body was telling him. What was it telling him? That time was up. That the bill was due. That the extraordinary things came with an extraordinary cost. And the cost was coming due right now. The mirror that nobody was allowed to touch, that Bruce used every night for 2 years, that showed him truth when everything else showed him performance, that let him see what was actually there instead of what he wanted to be there. The last time Bruce stood in front of it, he knew what he was seeing. Not Bruce Lee the legend, not Bruce Lee the icon, not Bruce Lee the martial artist, just Bruce, the person, the body, the machine that was failing, the truth underneath all the performance. He put his hands on the mirror, on his own reflection, and said thank you for 32 years, for the extraordinary things, for the cost he knew he was paying, for the body that let him be who he was. Thank you, and goodbye. The mirror nobody was allowed to touch, that held his truth, that saw him completely, that watched him say goodbye to the body that made everything possible, still somewhere in Hong Kong, in a house that used to belong to the Lee family. A mirror that saw the last private moment, the last honest assessment, the last goodbye. If mirrors could remember, this one would remember July 9th, 2 a.m. Bruce Lee standing naked, looking at himself, knowing it was the last time, saying thank you to the body that carried him for 32 extraordinary years. The truth the mirror showed, that nobody else saw, that disappeared the next day when Bruce Lee died and the legend took over completely. But for 15 minutes at 2 a.m. on July 9th, the truth existed, the body that was failing, the person who knew it, the goodbye that needed to be said, in front of a mirror that nobody was allowed to touch.